I'm Brian DeLuca, and this is Maker Build It, and today we're talking about stripping paint off miniatures. And this time we're talking about resin 3D printed miniatures. But before we do that, make sure you like and follow. So ever since I did my video on stripping paint off metal miniatures, I've been getting a lot of questions of how do you strip off paint on resin printed miniatures? Today we're testing two things. We're testing isopropyl alcohol and we're testing the Testors ELO Paint Remover, which is Easy Lift Off, which is what the ELO stands for, not the band if you're from the 70s. But we're basically testing these two, and I use the Testors a lot on my metal miniatures that I've stripped in the past, especially when I buy them off like eBay or somewhere like that. So we're gonna take these two miniatures and we're gonna soak them in a bath of the two removers, and we're going to see what happens. So before we start, like with any type of chemicals, we're going to put on our safety goggles and rubber gloves because safety's first. Now, you don't need a whole lot of the Testors. I am going to fill this isopropyl alcohol on pretty fully. And most of you have this laying around. If you 3D printed resin already. So we're just going to put this miniature, which is a little hellhound I painted that I really like the background color. We're just going to leave them in here, put them in the deeper part. And now we're going to take some of the Testors ELO and put it in here. You're going to also want to make sure you do a well-ventilated area, and a lot of times with this Testors, I'll use it to strip multiple miniatures, so it's not like a one and done. So this does have a pretty pungent smell, and we're just putting this, should have showed them to you, this little pirate guy in here that I painted, and wasn't really a fan of the way he came out, so I'm going to repaint him. So let's leave these for a little bit of time, and then we're going to scrub them down and see if it removes the paint. Or even see what the Testors actually does to a resin 3D print, because I've never used Testors on a resin 3D print. We've given about 30 minutes for the isopropyl alcohol and the Testors ELO to remove the paint. On these minis, we're trying to strip off the acrylic paint. Let's start with the Testors. Oh, it's removing some. It's removing some of it. The paint is definitely coming off. So if you can see there, we're getting the paint coming off. It's actually coming off quite nicely. Since it is coming off so nicely, I'm just gonna... That was only 30 minutes. Actually, guys, that was pretty good. I think that went a lot quicker than the metal, but the metal I was also trying to take off was probably, 40 years old. This was probably only painted maybe 6-8 months ago. Or I started painting it. I don't even know if it was that long. And let's just switch out gloves and try the isopropyl with different gloves. Okay, we got some fresh gloves for the isopropyl alcohol. And oh, this, holy smokes. It is taking the paint off. Worked pretty well. This is only after 30 minutes of being in each of the liquids. So both the isopropyl alcohol and the Testors did an amazing job at removing the acrylic paint from these resin miniatures. Now, I would say the biggest difference, though, is this Testors, and I love Testors. They are some of my favorite enamel paints. I love Testors, but this costs about $20 for this paint remover, where the isopropyl alcohol only costs about $3. So in terms of price, the isopropyl alcohol did just as good of a job as the Testors, and it costs a lot less. So I would recommend using isopropyl alcohol to remove acrylic paint from your resin minis. For more on 3D printing, DIY, and maker projects, make sure you like and follow Maker Build It, and remember, keep on making.